All right. Come on, somebody celebrate in the house. Put your hands together, loud and clear. We're changing the world. That's what we are doing, one beat at a time, one person at a time, one leader at a time. We are changing the world. Hallelujah. I'm so excited that this is happening. Gradually, we are getting to where God is taking us to. Gradually, we are beginning to hit the mark. You know, when my wife was talking to us here, she said, we just found that there was a gap. And we needed to bridge the gap between the experienced leaders and the emerging leaders. We wanted to be sure that people will not just go into leadership, and then they begin to learn the ropes from that place, because that's what seems to happen. People want to have a vice who will be full of vices. People want to have a deputy who will be dependent on them. People want to have an assistant who will not be able to give them any assistance. But that's not the way things are supposed to be. I have a dream that in Nigeria, we are not going to have one leader leading this country. We are going to have 200 million leaders leading the country. That's what we need. So we are going to change the narrative, one person at a time, one beat at a time. So can I say a very big thank you very much for joining me on this journey. I want to appreciate all our speakers, Emmanuel Mefenem, who had just spoken before. Funke Amobi came up to also come and share. Look at the wonderful things that we have gained insight to today. That's why I tell people is, life is not made by what comes from abroad. Life is made by what comes from above and from inbroad. Mahatma Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. Why do I put that there? I put that there because change begins with you. You heard it in that song. It starts with you. We're looking for change. We pray for change. We desire change. We call for change. We vote for change. But the truth is that change doesn't happen until you get involved in making it happen. Nothing positive can ever change around you without your involvement. It begins with you. Please let me tell your neighbor, it begins with you. Okay, don't just tell them it begins with you. Tell them it begins with me. If you've ever heard me talk about leadership, you know I always say that leadership begins with you. Leadership is not you waiting for somebody to come and lead you. Leadership is you taking the lead wherever it is that you are. Don't wait for any position. But if you are waiting for position, can I say something to you? You already have a position. You are an elder brother. Even if you are not an elder brother, you are a younger brother. Younger brother is a position. So take it and start from there. Take it and start from there. You already have a title. Father is a title. Mother is a title. So if you are looking for a title, take that title and use it. Brother is a title. Start from where it begins with you. And if change begins with you, there are a couple of things I want to share with you. Number one is the fact that you need to know yourself. You need to know yourself. The biggest challenge I see is that people go around wanting to be introduced to people, and yet what they should say, they don't even know. Go through the scriptures, if you will, and find out that when they asked Jesus Christ some question, when Jesus Christ asked the question, Jesus said to his disciples, who do men say that I am? They came back and they started telling him stories. Some say you are the prophet. Some say you are Elisha. Some say this and okay, what about you? Who do you say that I am? And then Peter, that bold, courageous young man, stood to him and he said, I know who you are. You are the Messiah. He didn't say you are Jesus Joseph. Because if I ask you who you are most likely going to tell me that you are Bisi Akande. That is your identification. That's not your identity. Never allow your identification cover your identity. Never allow your identification mark cover the identity you carry. Or else you will be like blind Bartimaeus. You know the story of that young man called blind Bartimaeus. His name is Blind, the son of Timaeus. His identification mark, blindness, covered his identity. So you hear sometimes the Bible talking about a certain woman. Where is her name? The issue of blood covered her name. You must know yourself. What are your strengths? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? You must know yourself. What are your triggers? What gets you? See, you don't get angry because somebody made you angry. It's because you don't know what gets you angry. If you know what gets you angry, it's either you stay away from it or you find a way to block it. Did you get any insight there? Let's stop operating at the lowest level of human awareness. There are 7 levels of awareness, but I'll talk about just that one. The lowest level of awareness is called the animal awareness, the level of the mass. Look what you made me do. You blame everyone for making. Nobody makes you do anything. You did it because they set the trigger on and you fell for it. Are you with me? So you must know yourself. Number 2, you must grow yourself. That's why we do what we do here. That's why we do what we do. Please put your hands together for Auntie Funke Amobi. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. I know you have a trip to make, so you must grow yourself. Very important. And I think some of our speakers have touched on that. You must grow yourself. And the question I want to ask you is, what are you doing to grow yourself? Now, I'm going to take 30 seconds. I'd like you to write down for me in your paper or type in your phone 3 things that you do on a monthly basis to grow yourself. Are you ready? Let's go. You know, I don't speak without challenging people. I don't just go like that. I've got to challenge you so that you can change. What are the 3 things that you do on a monthly basis to grow yourself? I'm waiting for you. I got 30 seconds. Just 3 things. I don't need more than 3. But what are the 3 things? In my life, I have what I call my rule of 5. 5 things that I must do every day. And when I say every day, I mean every day, including Sundays, and even on Christmas Day. I have 5 things that I must do every day. I won't share with you right now. You can see me in camera for that if you want. But what are the 3 things that you do every day to grow yourself? I'd like you to write it down for yourself. I'm not going to be able to look at it, but you write it down. Are you done? If you are done, put up your hand. Just say you are done. Okay. Just a few of us are done. Some of us are not yet done. If you are not done, that's because probably you don't have some intentional things that you do on a daily basis. So you've got to find out what are the 3 things I can do on a monthly basis to grow myself. You've got to be deliberate and intentional about it. Too many of us do things haphazardly. Not too long ago, I think this year, I set up something that I call a thinking challenge. And I said for 30 days, let's just think for 30 minutes every day. How many of us were in that thinking challenge here? Anybody? Okay, couple of people. 30 days. And somebody called me and said, I never knew thinking can be this tough. Yes, it can be tough, because the problem is that many times, what do? We think arbitrarily. Actually, that is worrying. It's not thinking. But you can also think intentionally. How do you think intentionally? You sit in a place and say, this is my thinking time. I want to think. And then you are asking yourself, what am I going to think about? How much time will I spend thinking about this thing? By the time you are done, you are a better person, because there's intentionality there. You've got to grow yourself, and that's it. When you grow yourself, then you do the 3rd thing. What's the 3rd thing? You've got to apply yourself correctly. See, change happens when people find their giftedness and start using it. The area of giftedness. Every one of us has an area of giftedness. I think it was Paul that was speaking, and Paul said, we have these treasures in earthen vessel. Every one of us. There is no man that God sent to earth that he did not give a gift. In all sincerity, it is not the field that is the problem. The problem is it your field? You can be an accountant and not count money. It's possible. You can be a lawyer and every time they will be bailing you out of trouble. Very possible. You can be a pastor and need to be pastored. In fact, somebody had told me before. One day I said, sir, you didn't join them to go and lay hands. Say, sir, where I'm sitting now, I really need hands to be laid on me. I can't lay hands on anybody. Say, because with my situation right now, I need hands to be laid on me. And he was very intentional. He was telling himself the absolute truth. You apply yourself correctly. Stop sowing in another man's field. Stop running other people's race. Too many of us are running other people's race. I was running people's race myself. I had some challenges. As a child, I could talk a lot. And the only thing that they just look at me and they say, he's a talkative. In fact, in class, when you want to catch noisemakers, give me the sheet of paper. Because they didn't know. They thought that, okay, that will keep me quiet. But the funny thing is that I will talk, so I won't write anybody's name. Everybody will be okay. Because I talk a lot. But little did I know that it was in my talking. No, in my speaking. Because it's not everybody can talk, but it's not everybody that can speak. Take that home. A lot of the things that I see that a lot of people are doing is actually talking. It's not speaking. A lot of people don't understand what it means to speak because, of course, they never learn. They never learn. Part of the things that I do to grow myself is that I learn to polish my speaking on a regular basis. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I have a mentor for speaking, and I listen to him every Thursday night at 10 p.m. I wouldn't be lying if that date is not there. Thursday, 10 p.m., I'm on my system. I do nothing else. Who am I listening to? My mentor for speaking. Let's leave that for another day. Apply yourself correctly. Let's move on. Change is better with others. I said number one is change begins with you. Number two, change is better with others. Please, let's put the screen straight so that I can see the timing and be able to run with the time, please. Thank you. Change is better with others. You've heard it say that it's teamwork that brings life to the dream. Change begins with you, but it's not about you. Change is for others. It is better when we change together. We've got to be able to change with other people. And in changing with other people, one of the things that we need to do is to be able to connect with people and care for them. I think the greatest leader that ever lived is Jesus. And he exemplified that for us. He connected with people. That's why I was talking about the issue of talking, speaking. I'll go to the next point. You see, there's talking, there's speaking, there's communicating, and then there's connecting. Some people talk, some speak, some know how to communicate. But the highest level is when you can connect. Jesus connected with people physically. He went where they were. He knew how to go to where the people are. If you're a leader, you must be able to go to where the people are. You must be able to get to the place, get into the space where they are. You know what God told Abraham at one time? He said, walk through the land. One day he told me, if you're a pastor and you want to succeed, walk through the crowd. Walk through the crowd. One of the challenges that we have of leadership in this part of the world is that those we call our leaders don't even know where we are. They don't understand what's going on out there. So when you are talking and you are complaining that fuel is scarce, he has never seen scarcity before. How can he understand you? He's not connecting with you at all. What you are saying does not connect. That's why the manifesto has not changed. Over the years, the manifesto is the same thing. I will build road. I will provide light. I will give you water. The same thing. They forgot that when they were sharing that manifesto, we didn't know how to do borehole. Right now, we can produce our own water. I don't need you to give me water, sir. The manifesto does not change. It's still the same manifesto. Why? Because they are not connecting. He connected visually. He saw them. Please, whenever you go through the crowd, see people. Hello? See people as people. Don't see people as program. Don't see people as projects. See people as people. Very important. He saw them. Number three, he connected with them emotionally. The Bible says he felt compassion on them. He connected with them emotionally. He felt compassion. And he connected with them spiritually. He helped to build their faith. Be a hope dealer. Can I say that again? Be a hope dealer. Have hope for yourself. Have hope for others. It can always get better. Life can always get better. He built up their faith. He connected with them spiritually. He would always tell them something that will move them from where they are to where they are supposed to be. And I always tell people, you see, you can discipline people and still laugh with it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your life. Hello. I'm on a new business now. My new business is I'm enjoying my life. That's the truth. God gives us all things to what? To enjoy. So I'm enjoying my life. I do the things that I love. I do the things that I want. I just enjoy my life. So you see me come up with a song. You see me dance at times that you don't expect me to dance. I mean, last time I was in a program and I came dancing to the stage. And they were wondering, what are you doing? I said, well, that's what I want to do. I want to dance to the stage. Anything wrong with that? Do you have a problem with that? If you have a problem with that, then dance your dance. If you don't like my dance, dance your dance. Change begins with you. Change is better with others. So if you have to change with others, connect with them. Number three, you've got to value people and add value to them. That's very important. I know I can't say that too much because I see that many times we really don't value people. If we value people, we will not lead them the way we are leading. Please, you need to understand that everyone deserves to be led well. Everybody deserves to be led well. Value people as people and always add value to them. Let me say this. I say it a couple of times, but I'll say it again. When people leave your presence, don't let them live bitter. May they live better. Anyone that comes before you should live better than when they came. Say a word, Give them a smile, but do something to add value. That's the way you connect with certain people. That's the way you get yourself into people. That's the way you add value to people. Just do something that makes their life better. Don't be the one that is always wanting people to better you. Can you better someone else? So let me stop and take a pause. And for another 20 seconds, I want to ask you a question. What 3 things can you do today to add value to somebody's life? Now, choose somebody. I told you I'm going to give you exercise when I come up. So that's what I do. Pick somebody in your heart or in your mind. Anybody. And just, not somebody you want to collect something from. Just somebody, I mean, you know what I'm saying. And just say, okay, what are you going to do today to add value to that person's life? Just one person. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you're a husband to actually even pick your wife right now. And just say, okay, what am I going to do to add value to this person? Change is better with others, and that requires that you understand people and the way they change. Let me quickly rush through this because my time is almost up, I believe. I can't see the timer, but I think time is running. 4 reasons people change. 4 reasons why people change. Number 1, people change when they hurt enough that they have to change. Some people will not change until they are pained, until something difficult happens. Then they have no option but to change. Some people will change when they see enough that they are inspired to change. They see enough. That's why you have to be careful what you are seeing, where you are passing through. I remember some years back when I was pastoring in Abuja, I used to live in a place called Kubwa. I think Zako also mentioned some things about this issue of seeing. And while going to my church at the Central Parish, which was in Wusetu, while going to my church, I had 2 options. I could pass through this side or pass through the other side. But this side had a lot of uncompleted buildings and villages. The other side had some very nice looking buildings. So I made a choice. I began to pass through the place where I could see the kind of things that I wanted to see in my life. Because if you see enough, you can be inspired to change. Number 3, when they learn enough that they are able to change. When they learn enough that they can change. That's why learning is very important. We learn, we grow, we learn again, we grow, we keep learning. What I learned 5 years ago is not good enough. My mentor will say, if you are still proud of what you did 5 years ago, then you are not growing. Number 4, people change when they receive enough that they have the capacity to change. Capacity to change. Because they have received enough. Because they have received enough. The gifts that have come to you. The things that you are becoming empowered so you can make change happen in your world. So you need to understand people and how they change. And that applies to you and to me also. Now, changing your world requires that you lead change. That's what it requires. Because we have 2 possibilities. Possibility number 1 is that we can wait for change. How many of us are waiting for change to happen? Some of us are waiting for change to happen, no doubt about it. But you know what? Rather than wait for change to happen, you know what Job said? Job said, all the days of my appointed time will I wait until my change comes. It is possible for change to come, but sometimes you might wait for a very long time and not get it happen. But you know what? You can lead the change and you can then make it happen. And normally, this will require that you have a compelling vision, something that you are seeing, not just for yourself. Because some people say, I have a vision for my life. No, it's not just a vision for your life. You must have a vision for life. A vision that impacts on others. One of my leaders said one time that if your riches cannot reach anybody, you are not rich. Vision for life. 2, you have to create an environment that encourages change. There are environments that can't encourage change. And one of the dangerous environments for you and I is when you are in a class where you are always the head of the class. You are in the wrong class. If you're in a class where you are always the head of the class, you're in the wrong class. You must be in an environment that is challenging. An environment where somebody is doing something and you're saying, wow. And of course, you need the courage to make change happen. Let me read this quote to you, or we can read it together. Hope has 2 beautiful daughters, anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, and the courage to see that they do not remain as they are. How many of us are angry at the way things are around us? Sincerely, are you angry at the way things are around you? Are you angry at the way rubbish is going on and they're even selling it. What do we then need? We need the courage to say this will not remain the way it is. And that's the challenge that God is putting before us. Saying that no, I brought you here because there was a problem. What was the problem? There was a garden and there was nobody to tend the garden. So I'm bringing you here to tend the garden, not to eat up the garden. What was the problem of Adam? He wanted to eat the garden. And that's what many people do when they become leaders. They love the perks of leadership, so they want to eat up. Five requirements for world changers. And I'll just read this out to you. My time is up. Consistency. Change is never once and for all. It is once and again. Humility. Attitude. Negotiation. Experience. Growth. These are the things that you need. Consistency, humility, attitude, negotiation. Storms will come, but how do you negotiate? Experience, growth. In closing, the world needs you. You need others. We all need each other if we are going to change the world. If you change my world and I change your world, together we change the world. Are you ready? Let's rise to our feet. I just want you to make a statement for yourself. I will change my world. I will change my world. I will find my gifting. I will express myself in the place of my gifting until I see a better world, because that's why I'm here. God bless you and thank you very much. Before I go, I want to celebrate our host. Pastor Shola Agubiade is in the house. He's the pastor of the Maranatha Church. The parish here is our pastor in charge of province for Lagos Province 23. Please help me put your hands together for Pastor Shola. Very fantastic man. Thank you, sir. And his wife, please. She's there too, Mama. Thank you, ma. God bless you. God bless you. Then put your hands together.